Today I'm just doing some general projects that I want to get done before I leave Australia, and one of them is replacing the lines on the wind vane. The last time I did this was in Panama about 4 years ago, and I just always check them for signs of chafe, and once it gets to a certain point then I replace them with new lines because it would really suck for one of these to break underway. It would be very tricky to replace. The lines they have a small amount of chafe here, but the significant chafe that I'm concerned about is here. You can see a lot. This is where the lines tend to cross and kind of chafe against each other. And then down at the bottom there, it's pretty bad where they bend over that little bit. So I'm just gonna replace the whole line. So the way I'm gonna do this is to take this new line I have that Andy gave me. I'm just going to tie it to the old line and then put electrical tape over both the ties. Last time I did this, I sewed the two lines together, which is a more secure way of doing this, but I think the tape way should work just as well. Alright, so I've just had a rolling hitch here, and then I'm going to tape over it so that it won't come undone. Trying to keep everything as low profile as possible so that it fits through the tiny box. So I'm going to tape all the way down the line to the very end, and I'm going to go down to the wind vane now and do the same on the other end. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this through a bit. Because there's chafe in the middle of the line, there's no point in end-to-ending it because it's just got a lot of sun damage. And oh, you know what, I might just cut that. This line's worked pretty hard, so I feel good about just completely replacing it. I have my little piece of electrical tape, so I'm just going to tie this on with another rolling hitch. Try to get these lines as close together as I can. Oh, I'm pulling this side because they actually cross. I can see that little connection coming in for this one. Nice, very nice. And there it is. Okay, now we just have to get it to the right length, and then I'll do the same on the other side, and then that's the wind vane line sorted, which is pretty cool. Alright, I've measured it all out on the tiller, and I like to have about this much extra line as ends just because why not? And now what I'm going to do is go back here and just cut this line, tie off the ends into big knots so that it can't come through that. This is the old line, and you can see how much sun damage. This was its original color here, and then this is the color that it sort of became. So that's just 4 years of UV damage. It's kind of cool to see. This line is completely useless. Normally I always save this stuff, but it's just really stiff and it's got a ton of chafe in it, so I'm just going to throw it out.
So in the quarter berth at the back water tank lives in this little hole, and it's just a soft bag water tank, and we keep thinking it's empty and, you know, punishing ourselves for having used so much water, and right now the tap would suggest it's empty, but it's actually full. There's loads of water in there, and if we press down on it and we can weight that side down, it will suck it up. The only guess we can think of is an airlock. It's somehow got too much air in it. I don't know how many moons ago, but at some point Holly's wrapped this rag around, so there must have been a bit of a leak. It's now so rotten to the point that if you lightly touch it, it just disintegrates in your fingers. So I'm gonna pull that off, clean it up, try and spot the leak, try and put some silicone on it. Right now we could just press and fill it, but this is usually buried underneath, what do we have, 6 kites, 2 kite boards, 2 BMXs, or 3 spare sails, all sorts of, that's not even half the list. When we pull it out, the boat just explodes. So solar panels for the locals in Indonesia. We've got 2 solar panels, and we're hoping we can find families to give them to. Okay, I didn't need to do fairy liquid or anything like that. The leak is extremely obvious because there's a big old tear here where the bag joins. I don't know how we're going to repair that. Ideally that would tighten down. Taking it off is pretty risky. We've still got hundreds of litres of water, but this is the development. There's the leak.
While Dan was busy working on fixing the water bag, which he eventually did with some silicone sealant tape and the promise of replacing it at some point, we just wanted to limp it through Indonesia, I was outside in the cockpit doing some projects of my own. Also, if you're wondering where I am, for this beautiful scenery behind me, woohoo! Join my Patreon and you will see exactly what I'm up to right now. Patreon! In the beautiful country of Canada. I just came home from a bike ride tonight with another flat tire. We've been buying new inner tubes a lot because we haven't been able to find patch repair kits, but I got one at the store today, so now Dan is on a mission.
So far, okay, I've only kept half the inner tubes because what we've got 4. Okay.
We have 4 tires.
So we have 4 wheels. So what I've done is I've
but only 2 bicycles.
I'm gonna have to say it so there's some of it that you can use. Okay, so we've got, yeah, between the 2 bikes we've got 4 wheels. So what I've done is I've kept 4 of the inner tubes out. I've cut.
Basically what Dan is trying to say is that he has taken the inner tubes that popped. We couldn't find repair kits, so he's making them into new patches, repurposed inner tubes. Pew, 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 pew.
This used to be a little hand grinder for Holly's new plant.
Electric coffee grinder, man.
The hand spooning is hilarious.
We discovered that buying coffee beans whole was a fraction of the price of buying ground coffee, and all we had was a hand grinder, which at first seemed a bit romantic, but ended up being pretty annoying after about a week. So I took it apart, used some washers and ingenuity, and turned it into a drill-powered coffee grinder. Still not very efficient, but way more fun to use. As we did all these other boat projects, one of the big jobs was getting ready for Indonesia. I decided that we were going to clear into the country without an agent because they cost hundreds of dollars and, in my opinion, are a bit of a bribery sort of situation. We'd heard some horror stories about boats being denied entry or charged horrendous fees. If you don't use an agent, you're sort of at the mercy of customs and immigration. But I decided that we were going to just do it anyway and see what happened. There were a lot of lists and things that we needed to prepare, and we had to meticulously make sure that all the paperwork was in order. The problem, there wasn't that much information on what paperwork had to be done. So we went with the method of doing probably more than what we needed to do, just so that if they wanted to check something, we could show them a documentation that we had the thing. So we contacted Uhuru, the boat that Dan used to work on, and they told us all of the paperworky things that they had done. Turns out we didn't necessarily need to do all of them, but it was really nice to show up a bit over-prepared. Dan and I were splitting the job of doing the paperwork, but he became my little inventory monster. And basically one of the things that they want is a list of all the alcohol on board, all the medicine, all of your food. They kind of want to know what you have. So one day when I was going out doing some errands, Dan went through all the medical supplies to sort it into categories.
So battling through the Indonesia paperwork or just getting it started? There's lots of steps, which I guess we'll probably explain somewhere in a video somewhere. I'm just doing the medicine check. When I last checked into Indo, they remove everything that's out of date or about to be out of date. And they kind of like to pick up on it. So you have to enter a form, you have to put a whole form in with all the medicine that you have on board, then they're going to want to see it, and then they're going to try and find stuff that's out of date, and you're not going to turn up with out of date stuff. So I'm just sorting through the out of date and in date stuff, and Holly's collection is hilarious. We have quite a large pile here of actual medicine, well organized, and not a single bit of it in date. And then we've got in date deodorant, sunscreen, razor blades, basically nothing that Holly has is in date. So there's that. The toothbrushes are in date. This is basically a box of stuff that doesn't have a date that it goes off by, apart from a couple of things. And this is just a pile of medicine that probably went out within the last 4 years.
Here is the beautiful sunrise. As I mentioned in the last episode, we spent 2 days in a marina in downtown-ish Darwin making tweaks on the roller furling install that we did ourselves on Anchor. Turns out we didn't really need to go into the marina because we'd installed it correctly, but we didn't know that we'd installed it correctly. Being in the marina was pretty fun though. I rarely take Gek into marinas, so it's kind of a nice treat to be able to just step off the dock and walk wherever you want to, including an amazing seafood restaurant that you'll see in just a sec. We are coming into the river now. It's getting very narrow, very tight. Lots of boat traffic. Boats moored in the in the channel, and then just I think it's dredged. So as soon as you get out of the channel, it gets super shallow, super fast. So we have to be careful to stay as close to the middle as we can.
A little more left, maybe. Hey.
Okay. Because Darwin has ridiculously huge tides, 18 to 20 feet. Pretty much all the marinas are inside of locks, so we are approaching the lock right now, which will lead us into the tideless and very flat, still protected marina. Here's Gek with her new, this is just fresh, and every time I see it, it makes me so happy. The new Rolly Tasker furling head sail. It's so cool. I just like to stand here and stare at her. We have put Gecko into Tipperary Bay Marina. They love liveaboards, super friendly, really nice facility, really clean. It's really nice here, and they're just down-to-earth friendly people without any airs or ideas about how great they are, so it just feels like home. Anyway, I'm gonna take you on a little tour of the area and then tell you about tonight while Dan unpacks the groceries. Because we're in a lock system, it's like we're in a little swimming pool for a boat. The door closes, keeps the water level the same, so we escape the 22-foot tides. So out here, in about a 2-minute walk to the left, there's a marine chandlery, which is very convenient. Bathrooms are there. And then this little area is Frying Nemo. You are legally not allowed to leave Australia before you've eaten a crocodile burger. It's one of the things that they make you check off on your leaving list. Actually, that's not true. But crocodile, just as sustainably sourced as any other type of meat, cows, pigs, sheep, what have you. And Frying Nemo has everything you could possibly want and more. Blacktip reef shark, they don't have ciguatera apparently, won a ton of awards, so we had to go there for dinner.
Yeah, so we'd been eyeing up Frying Nemo, which is the name of the restaurant, for a little while now. Because they had a crocodile burger on and that was pretty exciting. We ate croc the other day, it was pretty great, so we were like, oh, let's try it again. They used minced croc, which was super different to having a tail, so that was cool. Learned that the owner was a British dude. He came over and was chatting to us and he was just super excited about everything on his menu. We got a blacktip reef shark. He tempura battered that. There are some things that he refuses to pan fry. He says if you pan fry blacktip reef shark, it goes really tough. So that's why he chose to deep fry it and described that as like a textured cod. Maybe just slightly more flavour. His location is epic, it's right on the end of this marina, so we're like, oh, we're going to come back tomorrow night.
Yeah, so we're going to go there again tonight and then eat the chef's choice menu. He's just going to tell us what he recommends and we're going to get that. Too bad we didn't film, I wish we'd filmed the croc burger and the blacktip shark because that was so good.
Yeah, we talked about it, but then
he makes his
then
own,
we ate it.
Yeah, he makes his own croc mince. He buys the tail and they mince it themselves there and add in all these spices, and the buns are delicious. They're not hamburger buns.
He
They're
gets milk buns made for it, which is a hard thing to get.
Special bun. It's just really, it's like comfort food, but done really, really well, high quality version of it. So it's delicious.
Okay, we're on our way to Frying Nemo. It's about a 10-second commute. Holly's looking beautiful.
Oh, thank
in
you.
That orange dress. This is Holly's version of the pack. I'm a little bit nervous to take her to London. She's not overly well socialised. Stirs for a living.
Hello guys,
Hello.
how
How you doing?
How are you?
Thanks yourselves. Holly, how you going?
We're sitting here at Frying Nemo with the owner, founder.
Timing,
Yeah.
mate.
I've been here since 2012, and slowly over the years it's changed, and we sort of We started it actually as a modern Australian restaurant,
Yeah.
and that was a little bit too difficult.
Yeah.
So we had a guy working for me, and he suggested we try and do fish and chips like we English do. Then there was the Fish and Chip Awards, and we entered them nationally.
Nice.
And we got top 3, and we're up to first, not realising we'd actually done such a great job.
Yeah, sweet.
And then the following year, in 2017, we got best fish and chips in Australia, which is pretty good.
That's quite plain.
Yeah,
quite plain.
Quite plain. So
Yeah.
I think it's about 2,800 outlets around the country.
Yeah.
So
You were talking about those three, so everything you get is wild caught, which is really
everything's
cool.
wild caught, yeah. So we don't do anything. The only thing we do that's not wild caught is Atlantic salmon, but that's the way it is around.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Atlantic salmon if it was, right? And Darwin's pretty famous for its barra too, right?
Very much so. People come from all over the world to eat barra in Darwin.
Yeah,
so that's
there you go.
Thing, so.
Yeah.
And we also do like things like king threadfin, which is people call it threadfin salmon. It's a salmon-based fish. Local line called mackerel.
Yeah.
And then we do jewfish as well, so that's line caught as well. We try and do everything local as much as we can.
Yeah.
Even burgers and stuff, we use local butcher from Arnhem Land.
Okay.
So we've got
And the bakery too, you said, right?
we've got a local bakery that we do. So we do milk buns from our local bakery as well. So and they're really great. So I've been doing them for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
We try and do everything where we do it sustainably. Moved obviously to paper straws and all those things that, and all the plastics now biodegradable plastics.
Right. Nice.
And all that stuff goes out in paper bags, not plastic. So all those things we try and keep going.
Protecting the ocean you feed us from.
Absolutely, yes.
Nice.
And the world, really. I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Everyone's doing their part. That's really cool. And you do it, and it's really tasty. Crazy good selection of beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like
for
our
that.
beers.
Yeah, these are really good beers.
They're good beers, yeah. We try and get heaps of different craft beers.
Yeah.
Because I was a wine merchant before this, and then I never drank beer. So when I came here, I started drinking beer. And then I got a really big... And then it started the beer culture for craft beer in Australia.
Oh, nice.
So over the last probably 5 or 6 or 7 years, craft beers have really taken off. So I try and get all these different things in all the time.
Yeah.
Because craft beer's interesting.
Yeah, keeping up with it. Yeah, I'm
It's hard
excited.
to find in Darwin too. Like you have such a good selection compared to other places. Maybe there's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Passionate about it.
Yeah, I think I made the space to do it, that's all.
Yeah.
Now I had an interest in it, so yeah.
So what should we eat tonight?
You got to do some wild caught barra.
Wild caught barra, cooked how?
Beer battered.
Beer battered wild caught barra. All right.
It's almost like a chemical reaction.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that really works very well.
They make love. All right.
Yeah, they do basically at the end of the day, and they're really cool. And the other part is king threadfin.
Okay.
So they're both local fish.
Yeah. And that one battered too?
Battered as well.
Same thing?
Maybe the tempura battered.
Okay.
Change
All right.
sweet it up. Different batters. So,
Okay.
Yeah. And and we do like 4 types of batters. So we do beer battered.
Yeah.
Tempura battered.
Yeah.
We do crumbs.
Yeah.
We actually do gluten-free batter. So we have some shepherd flies for the people who are celiacs.
And pineapple fritters that you're saying we should load up?
Yeah, you should do, because we do fresh pineapple.
Fresh pineapple.
Okay.
Calamari.
Yeah.
What is that one?
It looks amazing, right?
That one's tempura battered, that one's real battered. So there's a kingfish and a jewfish. Okay, reassuring news. Yesterday, Holly and I absolutely frothed on this calamari because we couldn't get past how good it was and the shape of it. And then Adam here.
He's been calamari in Darwin.
He's been loving it. He's been loving it. So it's not just us, it is just good. So that's super exciting.
We feasted. With Adam's assistance. We were able to order a bunch of different items off the menu to try. Eating the blacktip reef shark was really cool. In French Polynesia, you were basically 100% guaranteed to get ciguatera if you eat it, because it preys on reef fish, and a lot of the reef fish have ciguatera, so it builds up in the sharks. But apparently in Darwin, Northern Territories, there's no ciguatera, so we had blacktip reef shark, which was kind of coddy. It was flaky. It was so good. And then the crocodile burgers, fish fingers, anything that we wanted from the menu. We just kind of stuffed ourselves silly and then walked the 20-second commute back to Geck. So all in all, definitely made the most of our time being hauled out. And then it was time to head back to the anchorage for 2 days and then clear out of Darwin and head towards Indonesia. We're taking off, underway for the sea trial and leaving the dock, going back through the lock again and out to tool around for a bit and see how the new sail handles. We've had a lot of trouble with the furling setup, but the sail itself is just absolutely beautiful. Fits like a glove. I can't wait to see her in action.
Cruising out, pretty flat.
Voila. Doors open. Thusly we courageously careened towards the locks, bellies and hearts full of fish and hope, as Gecko proudly led the way with her new, tightly furled, roller furling headsail. Into the lock we went, and up, 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 down, 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 maybe, actually judging by the waterline. Cheers, thank you for everything.
Send me an email when you get in though, eh? Let me know you say.
Yeah, we will.
Alright, make sure you do. Alright, take it easy.
Cheers, thank you.
You're a hero.
Cheers.
Yeah, you saved us, big time. Yeehaw!
Nice.
We're freshly out of the channel and the wind's filling in a bit, so we're gonna put out the head sail for the first time ever and see what happens. Actually, it's kind of dropped off again.
It has.
That's funny. Well, eventually, when the wind fills in for real, we are going to do it, and then we're gonna do every point of sail. For now, I'm not gonna put up the main, but I have it all set to go. Just sort of dick around with this guy without the main being a factor until I get comfortable with it. Here we go. Psych! I got tired of motoring, so I just put the main up because, hey, the more sails, the merrier, right? So this sail has an internal leech line that runs down the whole back of the sail, and it comes out through this guy with this really nice little handle to pull on it. So just tell me when.
Yeah,
That looks better. It doesn't look like it's hitting. Yeah, oh yeah, we actually have a ton of space. Yeah. Now we've got our position for close haul. I feel like I should mark the track or something so that we don't have to think about it. Downwind, there's not really enough wind to even know. There's a small issue when we're downwind. I think it'll be okay, but with the full sail out, with the wind, so there's a point where you have to pull the sail out, and once the sail's pulled out, that's fine. But right before that, if the sail is full, the line chafes on the lifelines a little bit, but it's so hard to tell because the wind is so light right now. That'll have to be something we play around with. But if the sail's reefed at all, it's fine. And I think if it's full, we'll just take one wrap around it if we're on that point of sail. But then if the wind is even lighter, it needs to be pulled out even at that point because it just won't stay full. So basically what I'm saying is a very long-winded way of saying I think it's going to be fine, but that is the only issue we've encountered so far. We have about 2 knots of current with us, so we're trying to play around up current of our anchorage because otherwise it's going to be a long slog home. But now I have the matching set to the Rolly Tasker main that I got in New Zealand last year. They sent me this beautiful sail. It sailed me from solo from New Zealand to Vanuatu to the Solomon Islands and over to Australia, and now this gorgeous new head sail. Look at her. She goes so much further back than the old one, which is awesome. The old one is a bit too small, so when I was chatting with Sven, I wanted the foot to be a little bit longer so that when it's light wind like today, we can still just hoon and make some really good miles. So. Okay.
About tack, tack turn, tack ho. Just covering them all the bases.
Tacking.
Right? Tacking
Alert,
ho.
alert.
Tacking ho, not diving.
Well, this is the sail on this port tack. Sport.
You can tell it's different by the colour.
Sport tack, sport tack. Yeah, now I know what tack I'm on based on what color my sail is. Very convenient. I should have had a red sun cover, and then that would have been the color of port. You know, I do like it with the black border.
That's cool.
It looks cool.
It looks really good.
It makes it look a little bit thinner. Black is very flattering. And then it has the little eyebrow on the back, the same eyebrow that the mainsail has. I really like it. I did point this out in my Rolly Tasker mainsail video, but they put the Grind logo on the top of my mainsail, which I think is just so cool. This is the first time I've ever had a matching set of sails. It just feels great. It feels so fancy. Thanks for watching this week's video. I put out videos every 2 weeks on Mondays. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for watching this week's video. Thank you for watching this week's video. Listen closely because what I'm about to tell you is like so surprising. It's gonna blow your stupid little minds. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on Mondays, and for my patrons, wait for it, you guys get a snack on the weeks that I don't put out a full-length episode, okay? Crazy, right? Thank you to my patrons for supporting me and making this trip possible. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/windhippie, and for one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. I'm currently giving Tish the summer off of helping me get my uploads up. Normally, when I'm on my boat, I edit everything on board and then upload it to Dropbox, and she gets it onto YouTube for me because I'm dealing with bad internet connections, but I am now in a place where I can do it all on my own. But don't you worry, Tish. Pretty soon I will have you back in my clutches again. Thank you guys all for your lovely comments. I love to read them. I have merchandise in the link below, and next week I am going to talk about clearing out of Australia process, and Dan and I are going to start our passage to Indonesia, and then we'll be in Indonesia together, which will be very fun, and will last slightly longer than any of us ever anticipated. Initiate eyebrow raise. I can only do this eyebrow though. Do you know how I learned how to do this eyebrow? When I was a teenager, I had a friend who could do it, and I thought it was really cool. So every night when I was brushing my teeth, I would stand in front of the mirror and I would practice until I got it. And now I have this tiny little muscle above my eyebrow, and when I concentrate, the muscle comes out. But I can't do it on this side because I only practiced on the one side, and I don't have the patience to try to learn the other side. Otherwise, I could do this thing. Okay, that's all. Peace out.